Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, but Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers Season 5, Episode 1, Work Hard or Die Trying Girl, and Episode 2, Tina and the Real Ghost. We always start off with a synopsis, so here is Episode 1, Work Hard or Die Trying Girl. It's the night of the fall musical, and the kids lead the adults through the past few weeks of chaos within the school. Gene auditions for his chance to have his musical be featured as the school's fall musical, his being the Die Hard musical. Courtney, his ex, auditions her own musical after Gene refuses to let her in his musical. Her Working Girl, the musical, is chosen over Gene's, leading Louise to plan the guerrilla/protest production of Die Hard the musical on the same night. Tina is cast in Courtney's musical and hopes she can be closer to Jimmy Jr. The musicals start at the same time, and Linda and Bob have to split between the two performances. In the end, it's discovered that the Boiler Room musical exists, and the kids band together and perform the Work Hard or Die Trying musical. It's like that's a synopsis.
That is
It's
a that's a good
This
synopsis.
is sadly still in our stint of there are no opening credits because our
None.
finality two-parter of season 4 had no intro, and so season 5 episode 1 and 2 also do not.
Yeah, there were none. I was
Mm-hmm.
the first one I was like, okay, but the second one is the Halloween episode. I figured there'd be
That's
something.
yeah, they do this for a little while. I think it's because they're trying to fit in as much as possible into the episode without having to give the time to the credits, which does happen
Hmm.
from time to time. It's not I don't think
Yeah.
it's too often. We do get those back, but it's because they're
Hmm.
trying to pack they have these are really great episodes, I think. So much
Yeah.
happens in them. I like that they're giving them a little bit more time. At least in the next
Hmm.
one, you do have burgers of the day. This one does not have the vacant
Yes.
storefront pest control shack or any burgers of the day. It is
Yep.
actually the first episode, and so far only episode, to not feature the restaurant in any form, including in the closing credits. Like,
Oh yeah,
not
because the
featured.
closing credits was just the theater.
It's just, yeah, exactly. So, this is the first and so far only time that they do this, which is actually really interesting if you think
Okay.
about it. Like, they
Yeah.
don't do that again, which means you do get
Well,
the
because it's like that.
restaurant in some way or form
Yeah.
in every episode from now on.
I mean, it makes sense because it's Bob's Burgers. Like it's about
Mm-hmm.
their family, but it's about their family and their lives running the
Mm-hmm.
restaurant. So at least the building should be involved because at least they're home.
I feel like this one at least was included just trying to show like their the lives of having to raise children and the chaos they get into because I
Yeah.
definitely agreed with him being like, oh, we don't know what's really going on in all three of our children's lives because they do a lot of shit. Like that's exactly how that
Yeah.
is. There's a lot of times you reach that point when you have three children. Um,
Yeah. Well, like you can just ask Fran, like, you've met our children. Do you really think that we know everything that's going on in all three of these children's
and with all the
lives?
shenanigans, each of them, especially Louise, get into.
Yep.
John Michael Higgins does return as Doug, which is Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Doug is a conundrum because he's such a supportive like dad, but he's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he really is kind of out for like his own. He's clearly trying to work. This is funny. He's clearly trying to work something,
Hmm.
obviously, like to get noticed or whatever with his Working Girl
That was
musical.
not
Because like
Courtney's.
there was speculation. No, that was not. No, absolutely not. Which is like if the point of this is to have the students supply the musicals, you shouldn't pick the one that was clearly written by the father. Just saying,
Like so
one that
obviously.
comes with an accompaniment. But he's yeah, he's a supportive dad, but like maybe a little too
Putting
supportive.
himself a little bit too much out there.
Yeah.
The title is a parody of the phrase "Get rich or die trying." The title was used in
Mm-hmm.
this episode as the Die Hard Working Girl hybrid musical. It's
Uh huh.
an interesting musical. They're all interesting musicals.
They are.
Nakatomi, Nakatomi. That gets stuck in your head sometimes. That's actually now like an audible like stem I have at times,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I've
Oh,
like
really?
seen the episode recently. There's times I'll be doing
Mm-hmm.
something like laundry or something, and I just sit there and go Nakatomi, Nakatomi, Nakatomi. I can't help it. It's so pleasing and it's
Yeah.
so annoying at the same time.
Yeah, I can see that.
A vocal stem, not an audible. I am tired.
I know what you meant.
The first, then okay, where is it? I'm sorry, I'm looking at my own notes.
That was me. That was me in the last recording.
The song "Work Hard or Die Trying Girl" was written by Carly Simon, who also appears performing it in with the cast in the end credits. They
Mm-hmm.
say I think it is Doug who says it within it that she wrote "Let the River Run" for Working Girl. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool that she did come in as herself to sing that and everything. That is
Yeah.
Carly Simon. I thought it was really kind of cool that they
Yeah.
did that. Mrs. LeBon's T-shirt is for the "You're
Mm-hmm.
Still Vain" tour '85. A
Nice.
fictitious Carly Simon concert tour reference her song of "You're So Vain." That's when she later references the to Doug when she's like, don't think the slap is about you," or something like that.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Courtney still wears her necklace when she's dressed as Tess McGill, and Tina still wears her beret and her Catherine
Yeah.
Parker wig. So, which I
Yep.
think is kind of cute.
Yeah.
So, okay, my favorite note out of everything I found, thanks to the wiki, is so when Linda's like whisper bragging, the guy
Mm-hmm.
she's whisper bragging to, that is one of the Johns that Bob brings to the transgender sex workers, and she's Cab Bob.
Oh my god.
There's your continuity.
That's such good Yeah, it's like, is that continuity, or is that just we have drawn the same 12 people? Let's put them in different configurations.
So, what did you think?
This one, it gave me some flashbacks to, like, to middle school theater, because I did I unsurprising to know, when I did musical theater in middle school, high school, and college. Um
You don't
I don't
say.
think anyone ever could have guessed that. So middle school and into the beginning of high school, my school had like a summer, like it was called the summer enrichment program. Basically, it was like kind of
Mm-hmm.
like day camp like activities that the school district ran just over the summer. So from the summer before 7th grade through the summer before 10th grade, so I think that is seventh, eighth, ninth. So I did it 4 times. Um, they had like, it was, most of the classes were 2 weeks, so it was like 3 2-week sessions, or this one was the entirety of the 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we called it the summer show. I'm sure it had an actual program name. We called it the summer show. These kind of gave me the vibes of those, because 2 out of the 4 times I did it, we did these musicals that weren't like known musicals or like junior versions of musicals. They were like from this one company that did musicals about era, like that were just set in like eras of the past. So the first one I
Okay.
was in was called the Nifty Fifties,
Nice.
and the second one I was in, um, I think it was just called Groovy. It was set like 1967, like it was set like
70s, 60s,
1969.
'70s.
Like Woodstock. It
Okay.
was
So, right. Okay. I was not
no, it was
wrong.
meant to be. It
It's
was
right
right there. It was
there.
meant to be like a parody of like the making of Woodstock, but for
Oh, no.
teenagers.
Oh,
I
no.
played a like a news reporter in that one. It was an interesting time. But after that we did the junior versions of this was an awful decision. Please never do this with a cast of mostly white kids. No, not mostly, entirely. We did Once on This Island.
I don't know what that is.
It's a really good show, and I think that there might be a bootleg of the most recent Broadway version on YouTube, because they did it in Circle in the Square, which is a really cool way to do it. It's a musical. It's based on a specific like version of The Little Mermaid, kind of. But
Okay.
it's set basically in I think it's more or less meant to be like the like Haiti, Dominican Republic kind of area of the Caribbean. And I'll be honest, the junior version scrubs out a lot of the racism commentary and makes it
Oh,
more of a
my.
classism kind of thing of, these people are rich, these people aren't. But like,
So
if you look
that's
at the real
okay.
version of the show, it's mostly a racial thing. maybe don't
Good to
Maybe don't do
know.
that with a group of mostly white kids. Uh
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
wouldn't.
schools do it though. It's a great show, just not our version of it. And
Yeah.
then my last year we did the junior version of Guys and Dolls. Uh which that one
Okay.
was also an interesting time. That one I played General Cartwright, who's like the older woman that runs like the Salvation Army group that the main character is in, if you've seen Guys and Dolls.
I
I'm
haven't.
always the old lady in these things. Always. Doesn't matter how old I am. Always, because I think I've said this before with my theater group. I was always the old lady.
Mm-hmm.
So in my theater group in college, that was that. Then high school, I was in the ensemble for everything. Same with middle school. But like, this gave me specific vibes of like those musicals. It was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
semi off brand feeling musicals when you do like the junior versions of these things. So it gave me some flashbacks of that. But like, I said I too took hip hop as a dance class, but the skills weren't exactly transferable to theater dancing, other than my ability to basically learn choreography.
You took hip
I've
hop?
definitely told you this.
You have, and I'm just now, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. Sorry, my brain went to a place. Oh, I gotta see how, like, I gotta Google for 1 second. Anybody that has seen enough Bob's Burgers will know exactly where my brain is at right now, and you just won't know. Well, that's not what I
Mm,
wanted. I'm getting there. I can do
I believe
this.
in you.
I'm trying to remember when this is. Ah, it's not till season
Okay.
7. All right, season 7. We'll come back to
Sounds
that.
good. But like I did appreciate though that the people that they cast in Die Hard is basically it was the people who didn't get cast in the real play put on by the school
Mm-hmm.
or in Jean's play reminded me of the student run theater groups from my college, which was pretty much for the people that didn't like at least one of them was pretty much for the theater majors that didn't get cast in the main stage shows because they didn't have a whole lot of slots for the main stage. So like they're like my theater group was like the one that was for kids that weren't theater majors.
Yeah, but still wanted to have fun.
But yeah, because I still wanted to, be in theater and have a good time. They did a good job of the way because I was the bare bones theater groups. We kind of did a more stripped down version. We didn't do sets. We didn't do a whole. We specifically didn't do sets or costumes. Everyone wore black.
Gotcha.
We had scarves and bandanas that would differentiate like the principal characters.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they did it, which I think this is a good model to do it, especially when it was a really big cast. The first time I did it, they split up the principal role, so you weren't seeing one person play the main character the
Mm-hmm.
entire time. Like everyone got a chance to be featured somehow
That's
throughout the
fun.
course of the show. So like I think it was a good way to do it. Again, I ended up doing all the mom parts. Just what ended up happening. Because the first show I did was Footloose, and so I was the Kevin Bacon
It's
character's
it's the
mom.
broad shoulders.
I was it's the I was but here's the thing is the joke is I was older than most of them, but only by a year. Because I was a junior.
Mm-hmm. Not enough to be like, oh, you're a
But
year
here's the thing
older.
is
You're
I was a
mom.
junior and most of them were sophomores, but since they didn't know me, they thought I was a freshman. So like that their justification of, oh well you're older, that didn't make sense the first time you cast me. The second time I could
Yeah.
give you that one. The first time didn't make a whole lot of sense. So that one, but that one also someone this is where I got my nickname MVP for that theater group because I was only supposed to, I had one scene and had one song to be featured. But then the other people who played Ren's mom, Ethel, kept dropping out. So they just kept asking me to do more parts
Oh.
of it until literally I was doing all of it except for one song and the person who was supposed to do it didn't show up to our last tech rehearsal and they're like okay if you don't come to tech you cannot be in the show like this is our only
Yeah.
rehearsal with the music and the mics and everything you have to be here. She didn't tell anyone she wasn't coming, so at the beginning of rehearsal once it was clear that she wasn't coming the director came over to me. She went, hey, so can you learn her part of this song real quick and run it by the end of rehearsal? I was like, I can try. Like, sure. So I grabbed the other person that was in it because it was one person was supposed to be singing, but they split it amongst three people.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed the one person that I was friends, or one of the people that I was friends with that was running it. I'm like, can you help me? She's like, yeah, sure, let's run it a couple times. We did it in the hallway. She told me when I had to stand up and when I had to sit down. We ran it during rehearsal for tech. And at the end, that was the first note they went, can we just all thank Lauren for learning an entire song in an hour? I, I
That's
loved that group.
awesome.
Truthfully, they were nothing but the sweetest people.
I
The
only.
semester after that we did cabaret, uh and that was another
Oh.
one where I was Fräulein Schneider, unsurprisingly. Unsurprisingly I was not
Yeah.
cast as Sally Bowles. But that was one time where at that point they knew me, they knew my range, they knew my style, they knew what I was capable of, and they had me that basically the director, once I had my first rehearsal with them about it, she was like, Fräulein Schneider was always yours, I hope you know that. Which was like
Oh, I
nice to
love
know.
that. How did you feel about how the story was told this time? How it was all flashbacks leading
I
up to that
really liked
moment?
it because this was a case of the flashbacks were all very flavored by who was telling them. Because you could tell
Mm-hmm.
like when they started saying that Louise was wonderful or the plan was really smart or whatever, it's like okay, this is Louise's recollection of what happened. I thought that was a really interesting way to do it.
While the parents all agreed that the children were
Oh yeah,
horrible, though, which was
yeah,
also a favorite part. All the parents were just like, "No, yeah,
yeah.
that checks out." No one
No,
argued. Doug just stood there as they were like, "No, Courtney's horrible." Doug didn't say a word. He just stood there like, "Yeah,
yeah,
no,
she's
yeah."
she's not a good kid.
I wrote down a lot of random lines that I
Me
thought
too.
were funny. because this one has really good banter. So I'm curious which ones we both wrote down. The faculty opium den. That I just wrote that because
Yep, me too.
what the fuck? I love it, but okay. I don't even know what to say about that.
No.
And then of course we already talked about we don't know all the crazy crap our kids are doing. I'm like, that checks out.
It's the fact that he ended it with "we don't want to know."
And then I don't know why I am so obsessed with some of these like repetition of it, but the fight scene, we're gonna have a fight scene, and he just starts punching himself. And then the last one I wrote down was, my mother was right. This musical theater stuff is just too dangerous. No wonder he's the way he is.
Musical theater is dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It can be. I definitely, sprained some things learning choreography. I did when they were talking to Andy and Ollie, the line "FBI agents don't hold hands." These ones do. It gave me the
that was cute.
It was cute. It gave me the vibes of there's a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror where it was the two aliens. They come down and they take over the bodies. Because this is the 90s. So they took over the bodies
Of course,
of Bill Clinton and what was whoever the opponent was, not George Bush Sr. It was the second time.
I don't know who that was.
What was his name? Bob Dole.
Thank you. I would never have remembered
No,
that.
it took me a second to get there, but it's so that's the point of the Treehouse of Horror is they take over their bodies, they can take over the election and take over the world. And at one point, one of like the Secret Service members comes up to them as they are holding hands, and the guy's like, "Your constituents are concerned by the fact that you and your opponent are constantly seen holding hands," and they go, "We're merely exchanging long protein strings. If you can think of a simpler way, I'd like to hear it."
Oh my god. I need to watch more Simpsons. Every time you do this, I'm like, I should really sit down and watch The Simpsons.
I'll send you a list of episodes.
Yeah, you've actually told me that before, and I don't have a list yet.
I will send you a list of episodes that are worth watching at one point.
Okay, that's fair. Any other fun lines though, or moments of this episode that you wrote down?
This was one of my very first notes. It was even though I can tell very clearly that the woman that does the announcements for the school is H. John Benjamin. Now that you've told me he plays so many characters, now I hear it all the time.
You can kind of pick up who's him and who isn't.
Yeah, like I can pick it up, but despite the fact she still sounds like Roz from Monsters Inc.
She does. He does a great Roz.
He really does. He really, really does. But I do stand firm. Die Hard should not be a musical.
No, I don't think Die Hard needs a musical. I think Working Girl was kind of cute.
Yeah, I could see Working Girl like 9 to 5, that kind of thing. Like that era of movie, I think is fine.
I think that would be kind of fun. It almost feels like has the energy of like Heathers, I think.
Yeah.
Or that it's just that time period, I guess, in my mind. Because that's not too far off from that. What did you rate this?
So I gave this one a 10 for personal. It hit my musical theater hard. It was cute. It was fun. It was a lot of Courtney and it was a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? So it did get an 8 for plot and an 8 for characters. This one gets a 26.
That's not bad. I had a feeling watching it. I was like, musical theater. This may, even though it's very much a Gene episode, this may win over Lauren.
Again, Gene is not indicative. Gene is not indicative necessarily of whether I'm going to enjoy an episode anymore, I should say.
And Frond wasn't even that bad in this one for once.
I kind of enjoyed him with his need to like.
He's like, no, please keep going. He's like, I need to hear more.
He needed
of
the
this.
tea.
He's like,
he wanted the tea.
I didn't rate it as high just because it's not one of my favorites. So I gave plot and character 8, and plot and personal 8 and character 7, and I gave it a 23. Still not super low for me either, though. Like I kind of range between 23 and like 28 a lot of the times. I like this episode. It's not bad. It's not horrible. It's a basic Bob's Burgers episode.
Yeah, I would say so. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It probably would have gotten an extra point somewhere if we still had the puns in the opening.
I think so. I think I would have given it more points if I had some puns to go along with it, because I feel like there would have been...
It had none.
It could have had some fun ones to go along with the theme of like musical theater. Like we could have had some fun ones with that.
Because this is the thing of like, I understand that the point of the gorilla protest was that it was underneath the
Mm-hmm.
stage for the musical. But if the rehearsals had been set at like in the basement of the restaurant, then we could have at least had one burger.
Exactly. Like they could have given us like one thing, but I think that was them wanting to have at least one episode that didn't feature the restaurant or the building at
Mm.
all.
That
And
makes
as we
sense.
know now, it doesn't ever happen again as of right now.
Yeah.
But let's get into episode 2, Tina and the Real Ghost. It's almost
Mhm.
Halloween, and Tina wants to go to the cemetery with Jimmy Jr. instead of trick or treating. Jimmy Jr. is only interested in the rite of passage that is the mausoleum trip. Bob calls an exterminator only to be informed that Bob's Burgers has a ghost. The exterminator tells the family they need to catch the ghost and trap it to get rid of it. Linda and the kids decide to have a seance to trap the ghost. Tina becomes enamored with Jeff and they begin dating. Jeff becomes popular at school and supposedly starts dating Tammy instead of Tina. The exterminator tells some paranormal investigators about the ghost and they start investigating Bob's Burgers, bringing more business to the restaurant. Louise admits she tricked everyone into thinking Jeff was real, but Linda won't let her come clean to Tina. The kids all meet at the cemetery and they get trapped in the mausoleum. Tina scares everyone and then admits knowing Jeff is fake. So, Halloween.
Halloween, I think there were 4 burgers of the
Yes,
day.
this is another. There is
Which
no puns for vacant storefront or an opening credit,
yes.
but we do have burgers.
I'm okay because this is the first of the 3 Halloween episodes we've had so far. This is the first one that has multiple burgers because this one
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take place just on Halloween.
It kind of leads up to Halloween, and then we have our Halloween. So
Yeah.
we get their costumes, and we get a little bit other things. Not so much the trick or treating, but I
Yeah.
love the Halloween episodes. I can't help but love them.
Yeah. They're good episodes.
I can't,
Like, well, I say that as I really didn't enjoy last year's last
exactly.
season's.
This one's a little different though. I feel like season 5 we start to actually see more growth within the characters.
Yeah, this one's different. Halloween hijinks. Last time was more like it was hijinks and it happened to be Halloween. That's I
Mm-hmm.
think might also been an issue I had with the last Halloween episode. Is that one was hijinks that would have happened kind of regardless of it being Halloween.
Yeah, this is
This
very
one is very
much.
specific for Halloween.
I know you want to say
So
these burgers.
I do. So we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre burger.
A reference to the horror movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. The human palentipede burger, which sounds disgusting.
For the human centipede, which no one should ever watch that movie.
No, please don't watch that movie. But also, I can't really see polenta on a burger working unless it's like a really like kind of like dried like deep fried one.
I could see maybe a deep fried polenta because polenta is really close to grits, and I eat that
Yeah,
weekly as a
yeah.
Southern person.
No,
So
but like that like again like but that's the thing is like grits like I'm imagining like the grits in a bowl that you would eat
yeah,
like as like a side like it would need to be like because I've had like deep fried polenta but like even like
mm-hmm.
when it's deep fried it's still pretty soft inside.
Yes.
So it kind of almost end up being more like almost like kind of like runny egg texture on a burgers, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I think
I
with
don't
the
mind a
right,
runny egg on
I
a burger.
think with the right cheese, it would be
Maybe.
really good. But I like I said, I'm a grits person, which is close to polenta,
Hmm.
so I think that's the only reason my brain's like, this sounds good.
It's fair. Kale's from the Crypt burger.
Tales from the Crypt.
Please don't put kale on your burgers. Kale is disgusting. I have opinions.
That's
I
perfectly
hate kale.
fine.
I really hate kale. And then the last one is Paranormal Pepper Jacktivity burger.
And
Comes
that
with pepper jack cheese.
and that's Paranormal Activity. So all our little like horror movies, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Andre Royo as Marcus, who is our exterminator that's too scared to do his job. He's been in
Yes.
so many things, but apparently he's also been in Empire, and I know Empire was pretty big.
Yeah.
So
To be fair, even though we didn't have an introduction with the vacant
Mhm.
storefront, we did still get an exterminator truck being Hugs Not Bugs exterminators.
Which, speaking of Hugs Not Bugs, this is the same pest control truck in the opening sequence for Topsy.
Oh, okay.
So that's we've seen this one before.
Good to know.
Brian Husky is our Phil, and Jordan Peele is Dawn.
Of course he is.
I told you, he comes back all the time, but you never realize it's him.
No, never, because he sounds different every time.
Every single time.
This man is so good.
He's so amazing. Because Keegan, you can tell it's usually him. When Keegan comes on,
Yeah.
you can pretty much tell it's him because he has a very distinct voice he tends to use.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan does so many different voices.
because like that's kind of like I think what we were saying. Well, we recorded it yesterday. You guys
Mhm.
heard it months ago. In the Jurassic Park episode about narrators, about how sometimes some narrators will like really focus so heavily on character voice versus others will kind of just focus on character distinction. I think
Exactly.
Jordan Peele focuses more on character voice versus Keegan focuses more on character distinction.
Oh my god, I would listen to an audiobook narrated by them.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Someone please reach out to them to read a book, please. Um the title is a pun on the film Lars and the Real Girl.
Hmm.
The playground that Tina takes Jeff to is the same playground in Spaghetti Western and Meatballs. So they're very much
Makes
still
sense.
starting, like, you're starting to see more of the area, which is kind of fun for me. I want to get a map of Oceanside really bad to show where everything is because they're walking distance from Wagstaff.
Yeah.
This is the third Halloween episode and the third time where Jean ends up with no candy.
Yeah.
It's every time that's supposed to be trick or treating and candy, and their kids they don't get candy.
Oh, that poor kid. I didn't realize that.
And this
Poor
is
Gene.
so far the only holiday themed episode this to show after the holiday has been celebrated. So this actually, even
Yeah.
though it's the Halloween episode, it came out after Halloween, and it is the
Mm-hmm.
last one that did. But yeah, almost all my notes are different lines, so I'm really excited to hear how you felt about this and see if I wrote anything similar that you did. There was the banter just seems to get so much better
Yeah.
into season 5. Like you can tell the writers are they've gotten to know their own characters very well.
Yeah, definitely. So Louise makes a good point about free candy. Why give that up if you're like to go to a cemetery? I don't think
Yeah.
I personally don't go to the cemetery. I don't know what it is about our two shows and having people break into mausoleums. Don't do it. It's not good. It's not safe. Don't do it. Um, Phantasmal bugs. I question this exterminator's credentials.
Yeah, I do too. It feels like maybe he's just become friends with these investigators and gets himself spooked very easily.
Maybe, which is entirely possible. I was like, if the exterminator saying they need an exorcism, who is he? The Ghostbusters, and then obviously those guys come back in.
And then then the
Like,
guys
oh,
come in.
there are the Ghostbusters. Oh, okay. But I do love that Bob is so over all of this, and then immediately gets himself locked in the fridge with the
Immediately.
Ouija board. Like he's like, I'm not participating. I'm not doing any of this, and the door closes.
And there's bugs.
And there's the bugs.
I'm also
But I
not
will say,
surprised that Linda has a Ouija board.
no, not at all. I don't fuck with Ouija boards. I've said
No.
that before. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Not at all. But I wrote down. I'm like, this so far at the point that this was good. I'm like, but still, one of the best Halloween episodes of TV to me was that Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode where like they go to like the haunted hotel room and like and
Mm-hmm.
Esteban gets possessed by the ghost. There's
Oh
something about that
man.
episode. It's such a good one.
I wonder if Bob's Burgers are ever beat out for a favorite. Okay, that's your favorite Halloween episode. I'm pretty sure eventually your favorite holiday episode will probably come from Bob's eventually.
I mean, I feel like just statistically,
Just statistically, you're gonna
there's so
watch
many of
enough
them.
of it.
Yeah.
There's I mean, there's not 14 of them, even though there's 14 seasons, because it took them till
Yeah.
season 3 to start it. So we
Yeah.
don't
To be
have
fair though,
as many as we think.
I can't remember exactly which Dress of Horror it is, but the one that I quoted for the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
that one is just that's one of the 3 vignettes. I can't even remember which other ones were in that one. I couldn't tell you which one it was, but like I've also seen a lot of Dress of Horror, so like statistically, again, one of those may still beat out any holiday episode I see of Bob's Burgers. But like because that one just has so many quotable lines because it
Yeah.
was part Halloween, but also it was it was like right around November, so it was around election season.
Oh
So like
man.
you had that's why they had that, but it has one of the I don't know I find reasons to quote this all the time for no reason. It was the one that was parading as Bill Clinton. It just goes, as a young boy I dreamed of being a baseball, and I say we must move forward, not backward, upward, not forward, and always twirling, twirling, twirling towards freedom. Like if you told me a candidate today said that, I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't either, in all honesty.
Like quite frankly, it takes a lot to beat that, quite
That's
frankly.
fair. We'll give it time though. We're only in season 5. This is only your
That's
third
true.
holiday uh mix because you have
Yeah.
this one now. Next week or next time we record, you have your Thanksgiving episode. And
Gotcha.
then right after that we have our Christmas episode. This season
Mm,
started a little bit later than
gotcha.
the previous seasons. So we didn't get much summer stuff at the beginning. We're going straight into fall. I think this is when
Mm-hmm.
they started kind of keeping that schedule that they do
That
now. And
makes
I mean,
sense.
now the schedule's all kinds of screwed up. I cannot wait for more
Yeah.
news for season 15. It's not even funny
Mm-hmm.
because we're about to get our
Yeah.
last episode of season 14. And I'm just sitting here like, it's not enough, but I'll take what you give me.
Exactly. I'm not a big fan of Jimmy Jr. constantly getting jealous when
Yeah.
other boys like Tina better. Like, to be fair, this one is a shoebox.
But
Um,
immediately after him blowing her off, it's always right
yes.
after he blows her off.
Yep, exactly. Like, I wrote down, Tina, you can do so much better than Jimmy Jr., who only
Hmm.
likes you when other boys like you. Like, it's just like
Exactly.
she deserves. And again, I don't. I'm aware this one is just a shoebox with a name written on it, but
It's the
still, like,
idea of her being with somebody else. It's even the idea of it.
exactly.
He doesn't
It's the
like
idea
it,
of it.
but he's a dick to her.
Exactly.
Oh, I
Like,
can't stand him.
I want her to understand that she knows she deserves so much better. But did I so the Ghostbuster guys with all of their equipment?
Hmm.
Did I tell you that Emily rented an EMF meter when we went on one of our walking tours in Salem recently?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went. So one of the things we did was we did a haunted pub crawl, which was just
I love that.
it was a good time because Salem is a very haunted area. So basically, we went to three different bars throughout like the main area of Salem, Massachusetts. In between each one, we'd walk around. They could tell us
Hmm.
some historical things, tell us some ghost stories. So part of it was like for $7, you could rent like this little tiny like EMF meter. And we're just weirdly enough, it went off mostly pointing at dogs. So I think my guess is it's something to do like their my guess is it's something to do with like the chip that most dogs have now.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
probably what was pinging it. But the joke was like, so all of these dogs are haunted.
When I was growing up, we did this one big vacation one year near the end of like my brother being in high school. And what we
Mhm.
did, my parents, they planned this huge trip to Savannah, and we each were allowed to choose a thing to do. I think I
Mhm.
was in like eighth or ninth, I want to say ninth grade, and that were between ninth and 10th. And so I think my sister chose like the beach, and my brother chose something else. I chose a haunted tour, a haunted trolley
Mm,
tour. I've made my
nice.
entire family go on the trolley haunted tour in the middle of the night in Savannah, which is
Fair.
one of the most haunted cities in the United States. I
Mhm.
had so much fun. Little 15-year-old me had a motherfucking blast. My family, on the
Oh,
other hand, like kudos to them for going through that with me
yeah.
because I was into some morbid thing was I'm into some morbid things.
Was.
Let me not
Excuse
say
you.
was. Excuse me. Because like I'm
But
obsessed over the Halloween episodes. I have these lines
yes.
like, "This year I got the bats that are smiling. It's more realistic," and I'm like, "Yes, I am Linda."
They're happy. It's their favorite holiday.
Exactly. And then when they get to the point after the guy's like, "You have to catch it," and they go, "I'll get the Ouija board and a box and candles and some smooth jazz." I'm like, like it's so good. It's so
Yep.
funny. You're totally lying, and lying is bad for your skin.
Yes, it is.
Good to know. I'm a hottie without a body. Like these lines, I
Yes.
don't know what it is about them. They make me so happy.
No,
And
they're so
then
good.
the last one, he dumped you. I'm gonna kill him again.
Yeah.
Like, I freaking love this episode so much.
Like that was a mean prank to pull on Tina.
It was.
I'm aware it's Tammy, so kind of what else do we expect? But like,
Honestly,
you're gonna steal her fake box boyfriend? Really? You're that desperate? You 13-year-old girl?
she needs the attention to be on her because that's Tammy.
Yeah.
She has to
Yeah. Absolutely.
torture Tina and the costumes. I have to at least
Yeah.
speak a little bit on the costumes of Jean. So this costume for Jean is half and half Turner and Hooch,
Uh
and
huh.
then this time around Louise was Ryan Gosling from Drive.
But more specifically from the major motion picture trailer.
Exactly, specifically the trailer, and I just
Like she
I
didn't see the
love it
movie
so
quite for
much.
which makes perfect sense.
Which there's moments throughout Bob's Burgers that she'll say a reference, and Bob is just kind of like, "Wait a minute, you've watched that? You shouldn't be watching that."
No.
It's like you, and that goes back to they have no idea what the hell their kids are doing most of the time. But that makes me think of my own childhood.
Yeah.
My parents had no idea what their three children were doing most of the time. They let me watch Seven. I got away with
They,
that.
yeah, we've established that.
Like, parents don't know what their children are actually doing so much of the time at this age.
Mm-hmm. Not whatsoever.
Um,
No. I towards the very end though, I appreciated Bob for making sure he got his money out of the Ghostbusters, because the guy was like, well, after everything else that we've done, I think it's all about a wash, and he just like steps around. He's like, you want to try that again?
Because it's like, I didn't ask you to come do this, but you decided to
Yeah,
stay here.
and eat my food. So like, you didn't incur services. You did something in my space.
And 11
Like,
burgers is like a good amount of money for them between
well, yeah, because
what
like
probably came
if
with.
they were just plain burgers, like I don't know what else they got, but like 11 hamburgers, it at minimum is $55.
Yeah, that's money that they definitely need.
Yes. So you figure that, probably say maybe they got like maybe a couple of sodas between the two of them. Like that's easy. Like I would, and like maybe some
Definitely
fries
some French
also.
fries.
Like that's, I would say at minimum a $70 bill
I don't know how anybody eats a burger without some French fries.
with some kind of side dish.
It's usually something fried.
Yeah, like depending on where I'm going, like some places like I'll do an onion ring situation. I've recently started doing this. It's delicious and I cannot recommend it enough. Um
Mm-hmm.
is onion rings, but as a dipping sauce, horseradish cream, because
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
you've told me.
I told you this because it's like a steakhouse kind of sauce. You can get like they sell just like a bottle of like a creamy horseradish sauce in the
Mm-hmm.
supermarket. It's so, if you like horseradish, if you kind of like that,
Small
open your
kick.
sinuses, small kick, open your sinuses, now you can breathe freely. It's a good combo with like a panko fried onion ring.
With that, out of these 4 burgers of the day, which one would you order?
We've established not the Kales from the Crypt or the Human Palentipede burger.
So it's
Um,
between curd and Jack.
I mean, without knowing what the cured part of the massacred burger, so it just means like it's a cured bacon, maybe
Curd. It says curd, so like
curd.
CURD. So I'm thinking cheese
Oh,
curds.
I added an e. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
So that one's
Okay,
actually
so
cheese
massacred
curds.
cheese curds. Okay, well then I'd probably go with the pepper jack.
Yeah, I feel like I like cheese curds, but I think
Not
I'd
not on
also.
a not on a burger, because the whole point of cheese curds is they don't melt. That's literally the point of them.
Yeah.
Like you want the squeaky cheese kind of situation.
So they'd still be that like squeaky cheese
Yeah.
situation. We have a place near us, very small place. They
Mm,
fry them. You can get by just those, but they also fry it. There's something about fried cheese curds though. Oh my god, so
I
good.
could see that being good. Yeah, I'd go more for the pepper jack kind of
Mm.
burger. I think it's like that's a solid cheeseburger option. You can put a lot of
Oh
stuff on it. I
yeah,
like putting onion rings on burgers.
if as long as they're
Yeah,
nice and crunchy and not
yeah, that's important.
soggy, they need to be a good
Like honestly,
crunch.
like
Man, now
yeah,
I'm getting
right.
hungry.
It's like onion ring, or like even like a fried onion string situation. Like that's
Yes.
like
Oh my
that
goodness.
fried onion strings with, for me, with that, with bacon, cheddar, and barbecue sauce. Now that is a winning
Mm-hmm.
combination right there.
That's oh man, now I'm hungry. Sorry to everybody who's listening. I don't know what
We
time of
do
day
this
you're
every
listening,
week.
but we
We
do this
lit-
every week.
we
We can't
literally
help
have an
it.
episode
It's
that's called like, did you know you shouldn't listen to this when you're hungry? I
honestly,
which
you
hang
really
on. I know that's an episode. I know I need to figure out what we're talking about in that episode.
which episode? What it's a Bob's Burgers episode. It has to be.
Um
I'm now realizing that you've never had fried cheese curds. Is that that must be a Southern thing
yeah,
or
it might
a
be.
not New York thing?
Uh
We fry
Hang on,
everything
this doesn't give me
here.
the whole titles. I have to use the computer.
Oh
Just
darn!
cuz
That's
the app just like
not.
cuts it off.
Does this count as a Yahoogle?
Sure. We've already Googled something this episode. It's fine.
We like to
We do.
Yahoogle.
This is more of your Spotify podcasters. Um No, it's a Once Upon a Time episode.
Is it?
Uh
Were we talking about the menu?
we're talking about Into the Deep. I don't
Huh.
remember what we were talking.
What did we
I don't
talk
remember
about?
how we got on the topic of food in that episode, because the fun fact of that one is, just did you know that Ginny and Josh filmed their scenes in the Netherworld separately? How did we get on the topic of?
Why did we talk
I
about
have to listen to it again to
food?
figure out why we talked about food so much in that episode.
Yeah, because I have no
We must.
idea. I would assume it
Me
was a
too.
Bob's episode because we talk about food a lot in Bob's
Yeah.
episodes, just because burgers.
But yeah, no, the episode, episode 57 is, did you know we shouldn't talk? You shouldn't listen to this episode while hungry, and that's about Into the Deep from Once Upon a Time. Well,
Okay then.
alrighty then.
See, we even surprise ourselves. We also don't remember
At
everything
this
we
no,
say.
at this
I
point, I've
mean,
gotten texts from people when they listen to the episodes, like, oh, I love when you talk about this, and I go, thanks, and then go back and listen to the episode so I can remember what the hell they're talking about. Because like
yeah,
we
I never
haven't we have
remember.
like a 10-11 week buffer right now, so like basically once an
Mm-hmm.
episode is edited and like up in our RSS feed, I forget about it. I kind of can't. I
And we
can't
on
hold it in my mind.
yeah. And we do that because we like to, just in case
Yeah,
emergency life things happen, we want to make sure people still get our
exactly.
content.
That way we can like, and also it alleviates a little bit of like we have to get stuff done immediately. Like if we do like we're taking a break
Exactly.
next week to record, but you guys will still get plenty of episodes. Obviously, like we're also again recording this in
Mm-hmm.
May. You're listening to this in August, so at the end of the day, it's like it's better on our mental health knowing that we have this buffer.
Because if something happens, it's not like, oh no, we still have to find time to do this. No,
Yeah.
we're good. So what did you rate this one?
So this one got a 30. It's a
Are
It's a,
you
I mean, it's a
serious?
Halloween episode, and like so like, again, like unless something egregious happens, the Halloween episodes are kind of primed for me to really enjoy them. And this is
Oh,
my
honestly.
style of Halloween chaos. Like especially when you get into the point
Mm-hmm.
of Tina kind of like Tina knew all along, or for most of the time that Jeff wasn't real, and this was her getting back at them. I loved that because it was gonna be a 30 most of the time until the Tammy stealing Jeff thing, and then I lost a couple points, and then Tina got back at them, and it got the points back.
I love that. I love that so much. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I was kind of worried when I was watching them because I know you like I knew you would like the musical theater aspect of the other one, and then this one is a lot of fun. I love the Halloween episode, so I'm always kind of
Mm-hmm.
optimistic and hopes that you are like me too. And so this makes me really happy. These are really good scores to start off
Yeah,
season 5. Maybe season 5 will be the one that you're just like lots
maybe.
of highs. Um, I gave plot and character
Okay.
9, and I gave
Okay.
personal 10. I think it's really good. I do. It also is just weird. Some of it with the care, like no one cares about Bob.
Yeah.
No one cares. And it makes me sad sometimes that no one cares
Mm.
about Bob. So, but yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
No.
This is awesome. You have no idea how happy I am
Well,
right
this is the
now. Oh
kind of
my
thing. Like
god.
I say like with Once Upon a Time. Like for like I always get very excited when you like pop up with random 30s that I didn't expect or like certain things, like because these shows like they're subjective at the end of the day. Like we always say this. Like we
Mm-hmm.
never really know how the other one's gonna feel, and like there is always kind of the fear that there's that the other one is still just doing this because we've now created like a reason to have to keep watching these shows. But
Honestly,
like we'll revisit how you feel at Once Upon a Time after season 3 because it's all over the place, and at least in my opinion it's all over the place.
that's
You
fair.
may feel differently because you like these characters in different ways than I do, and I know I have my own personal thing, but like I think starting off on a high note is a good way to go. Again, it almost lost points
Mm-hmm.
because of no vacant storefront, but then we had an exterminator truck and there were 4 burgers. It's like I can't be that mad, but like it's starting off on a high note is a good place to start, especially since you thought I was gonna really enjoy season 4. And season 4 really I didn't end up it wasn't any average less than season 3. It was like
Yeah.
I think the average score was like decimal points less.
I think season 4 taught me what you do and don't
Yeah, I
like.
think so.
Because it was only our second like full
Hmm.
season, which it does take time to I think actually get more into the show than I think like most people would believe because there's so many
Hmm.
episodes. It shouldn't
I
take
think
as
it's
long,
because
but
they're so short and they are so episodic, and you have to watch a
mhm.
lot of them to get a feel for the storytelling structure.
And once you get the storytelling down and then you can start more so paying attention to just the banter and the characters themselves, it's so much freaking fun because I mean, how can you not love some of the things that these
Yeah.
people say? It's absolutely hilarious. The writers on Bob's Burgers, they are doing amazing work in my personal opinion.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 216, The Miller's Daughter. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.